Okay, so let's get started. So, welcome to the Maley Way. I'm your host, Jim Maley. Today's guest has accomplished a lot in her life and has overcome many obstacles to become the person she is today. Kristen, I was intrigued when you reached out to me. I was intrigued, and then we hopped on a phone call, and like within about 5 minutes, I was like, all right. And this was not the reason, I don't think, why we first connected. But when after the first 5 minutes, I was like, all right, I got to get her on the podcast. And we were able to do that, and we got you here today. I think you have a great story, and I'm happy that you're here to share it with us today. With that, I welcome Kristen Powers to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, Jim. I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah, no, I am very excited for this one because I think, as we said, it's there's going to be some things that we talk about that are things that I have not talked about on this, but I think that are very important. Now, normally I start off with a softball question, but from what I gather, you're pretty tough, and so I'm going to start off with a little bit of a tougher icebreaker for
Okay.
you. So I just want you to imagine, and we're going to get into this, but like 18-year-old Kristen. Okay, you have your son in Kentucky. At that time, if you could see yourself today, what would she think? That 18-year-old version of yourself.
Wow.
I know this is
That's
tough.
such a good question. I have never thought of that. I love that question. She would be so blown away.
Yeah,
And that's really cool.
yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
she would not believe that we could be where we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of, well, we'll get into that, but I wanted to talk specifically about that. Like, so, Kristen, when we were first on our phone call, you talked about, you had a baby at the age of 18, living in Kentucky, the Bible Belt. Um, with where you are today, do you think where you are today, did you feel like fear at that time, or was it more determination? Like you were going to maybe prove people wrong in a way?
Definitely fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, you know, I found myself pregnant at 18, unwed. I um, was in uncharted waters, and people did not take kindly to that where
Yeah.
I lived.
Hmm.
I had people telling me all of their opinions, and
Yeah.
a lot of them were not nice ones. A lot of
Yeah.
negative opinions. And, statistically, teenage moms, they drop out of school, they, you know, don't amount to X, Y, and Z, whatever you want to say. And that was scary.
Hmm.
That was scary for me. Um, and I decided that I could do it. My family was behind me,
Hmm.
and I did. And it was definitely one of the best things I've ever done in my life. My son's 22 now. He's a college graduate. He has a great job,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Like it worked.
Yeah,
I
it
mean, and
worked
like you
very
said,
well.
it's like you're almost like a statistical anomaly in a way. Um, like I think about like like I think of sports and I think of like, guys going on to play in the NBA. Like it's just such rare air. Um, I think what's cool about what you have been able to accomplish, and we're going to get into all of it, but for someone else who finds themselves in your situation at that time to look and see like, hey, this person was able to do it. Like they were able to figure it out. And now, like you said, you got a successful like Miami of Ohio grade school son who's now got a job. Like things were able to work out. Now it wasn't easy, but like you were able to do it. And I think that's kind of what I like to do with this podcast is bring people on who have overcome obstacles and have are kind of to let other people know that hey, like you're not alone. There's other people that have gone through it. So that's why I think your story is really cool and powerful. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing that part of it. So like I want to get to like at that time too, like you had the baby, you were getting this pressure from everyone, I'm sure friends, family, whoever, telling you what to do. Um, how did you handle that at that time?
Well, you're so young, it's crazy thinking back. Like you have such a small schema at the
Yeah.
time, So when you are 18, you just have maybe high school and a couple of friends and your family, right? And this was before social media,
Yeah.
probably, thank goodness.
Yeah. I was thinking about that.
um,
Yeah.
we and really the internet too. Like
Hmm.
we weren't, you could maybe Google something by the time I was in college, but it wasn't, you weren't hopping on the internet. Um, so having everyone, I had even a distant relative write me a letter and say, you need to get married,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Um, so I had the naysayers coming at me, but in my head, I had my family saying that they would be there for me. I knew that I could do it. My parents were going to put me through undergrad.
Hmm.
And I figured, you know, I can physically do this. I have some financial support, I have some social support. So I'm going to try it out.
Yeah.
And as you know, nothing prepares you for parenthood.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Especially at 18, because, once he was here, none of my friends had babies.
Yeah.
Right. So that was really tough. But yeah, just being able to tune that out was the tough part,
Yeah.
but I think to a certain extent, once I did, well, first of all, I left Kentucky.
Yeah.
Once he was 3, he had just turned 3. I graduated from University of Louisville with my bachelor's in psychology, and I wanted
By the way, before you start, say Louisville.
Louisville.
Yeah, Katie's friends all are from Kentucky that she
Yeah.
went to DePaul with, and they would like make fun of me because I'd be like, Louisville, and they're like, no, it's how do you say it, Louisville?
You're supposed to say it like you have rocks in your mouth.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean. I knew I was gonna stop you at some point
Yeah.
to repeat that because yeah, it was always like a point of contention with me and the Kentucky people. But
Yeah. So if you're not from there, you say Louisville, but if you're from there, Louisville.
yeah. Okay.
So I moved there when I was 5, so it's Louisville.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I graduated from there and went down to South Tampa with Caden. That's his name, my son. And just kind of got out of there. I needed to get out of there,
Yeah.
And I think that those words that I had heard, as much as I thought that they were not there, were there,
Yeah.
And that is one of the things that really lit a fire under me.
Mm-hmm.
For good or for bad, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, it helped me get where I am. But through my 20s, I went down to South Florida. I got a job at the cancer center.
Mm-hmm.
I was working 8:30 to 5 with like a 30-minute lunch break, and someone else was raising my kid. And I was like, this ain't it.
Yeah. Right.
So I applied for my master's program at the University of South Florida in social work. I got in and started doing that. I still worked.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just took a couple public health classes, started taking public health courses. So I have my master's in social work, I have my master's in public health, and then I went straight into my PhD in public health. I just kept getting higher education degrees.
Yeah, which is amazing. Like, it's amazing that you were able to do that.
Raising him alone
Mm-hmm.
in Florida with no family
Mm-hmm.
and working.
Yeah.
And which is, when I say that out loud, it's really insane.
Yeah.
Like that's, I mean, I'm not trying to like toot my own horn, but that's
No, you should
that's
toot your own
pretty
horn.
cool,
Yeah.
Like I was a badass, for lack of a better
Yeah,
word.
right. That's why I started with the tough question,
Yeah.
because I got, you get that vibe from you that you are a tough person.
But I didn't think I was.
Yeah.
Nothing was ever enough,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. And that was because I had been so traumatized by, childhood and those words.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I had been told by society, friends, whoever, people saying, you know, you were an unwed teenage mom.
Mm-hmm.
So you are always going to be less than.
Yeah. And that's obviously tough, like very tough to go through. And I'm sure too, like, how was, because I feel like at that time, so you're at what age at this point? Like 20?
I was 23 when I started my PhD program.
Okay. So, like, I always think from like a mental health perspective, you know, community is like very important, like to me. Like, and I didn't think that always, but like now I do. I got to imagine, like, as a young mother, it's kind of tough to maybe develop that community at that time because, like you're in a place where you don't know anyone, all your friends aren't there, no family. Was that like hard? Was that hard mentally for you?
It was when I first moved there, when I lived kind of in North Tampa.
Okay.
And then I was actually about to move home. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And
Because
then I
were
got
you
in.
experiencing like depression at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
Some pretty bad depression. And I was just like, what did I do? You
Yeah.
know? And I was working at the cancer center, and they called me a management assistant, but really I was just a secretary. And
Yeah.
I didn't have anything to do, and it wasn't what I wanted to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got into the program, I met the master's program. I met friends right away. I moved to South Tampa, which is a much more compact area, kind of like LaGrange, like walkable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's when Caden got older. He went into school. I met his friends' moms. He started sports. And I got a really great social system down there. And
was that one of the contributing factors to get you out of that depression?
100%.
Yeah.
The second that I got back into school and started meeting people and building that social support system, it was like my family.
Yeah.
I mean, it saved me. And that was, I'll die on that hill, that people need social support more than almost anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that helped me so much. It made me a better mom. It made me a better person, friend, employee, student.
Yeah.
And I loved it down there.
Yeah.
Loved it down there.
Now, backtracking a little bit, like when you were depressed, could you tell me, like, just like what was that? Because I think depression is different for different people. But what was it like for you at that time?
At that time, because I've dabbled in it.
I've done some dabbling too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because I suffered from severe postpartum depression when I had Caden,
Mm-hmm.
when I was 18 and young and all alone. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I couldn't Google it. I couldn't talk to anyone about it. I didn't even have really any education under my belt yet.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't even finished my undergrad degree. But at this time, it was just isolation.
Mm-hmm.
It was isolation. And did I make the wrong move? Like, why did I up and leave the only family I had in Louisville? And, what am I even doing?
Yeah.
And
were you like exhausted too?
I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep though, and I had brutal. No money
mm-hmm.
because I was just working a secretary job, and South Tampa was expensive, or Tampa in general is expensive, and it's just it's hard to describe. It's
mm-hmm.
like, feels like just if it was a color, black.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the second that I got back into school and started making friends and having like a life outside of just work and Caden,
mm-hmm.
it was like a switch just turned on.
Yeah. I mean, I think, and we probably will get into this later, but I feel like for me, I was always like a very shy, reserved person. Like, I can't believe I'm like here right now. Like, this is not something that I would have been doing. And like COVID really bothered me. And, I ended up being hospitalized during that time, which now I look back on it though, I hated the whole COVID experience, hated it. However, I do think it now has made me like value like the importance of community and the importance of that to getting out of that dark place where I was in. And it seems similar to kind of what you got when you joined that program and started meeting people. It was like almost like you're the medicine that you needed in a
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
And I think I like that you called it medicine because,
Yeah.
Depression, anxiety, medicine can be different for different people.
Yeah.
Because when I had PPD, when I first gave birth to Caden, I probably needed medicine.
Mm-hmm.
I probably needed medicine in that bout of depression in Tampa. But then after that, when I started to find friends, I found some friends that were very into working out too. And I started to work out. And that was kind of just something I did. Like you brush your teeth, you work out. And I incorporated that into my routine. And then I never had depression again.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a PE teacher. Exercise, I believe, is one of the most important things that you can do. And again, that was something that I didn't value enough until like I realized like, hey, I got to prevent this from happening again. And that's one of the things that I've really tried to incorporate is like, that is like one of the best things that you can do to prevent yourself from getting to that dark place
That
again.
dark place.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome that you were able to kind of figure that out with everything else going on.
Not to say that works for everyone, right?
No,
it
yeah.
can always help.
Yes.
Right? There are some people, like I see clients who they'll come in and within 10 minutes, I know that they need to be on medicine
For
right
sure.
away.
And I needed to be,
Yes.
I needed to be on medicine. However, like now that I've actually like focused on like those self-care things, I'm always wondering like, I don't know, maybe do I still have to do it? But like, it's almost like I have a fear of like, if I don't do it, like I do not want to go back. So it's almost like, whatever, I'm just going to keep going and doing what I'm doing. But I do feel like I've developed some other tools that could maybe prevent it as well. But I don't want to take the risk because,
Right. Well, it's scary.
Yeah, for sure. So you do your go get into school, and you're doing that. I think you got your master's in public health. Is that correct?
Yep. My master's in social work and my master's in public health.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm also all but dissertation in my PhD in public health.
Yeah. And then you were teaching at the time too, correct?
I taught at the University of South Florida in the College of Public Health.
How was that? Did you like?
I loved teaching.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Well, it's got to be nice to. I mean, I really like teaching, especially now that I'm done coaching. Like, I really like teaching, but it's got to be nice, like college age too. That at least they kind of want to be there, right? For the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I taught some Gen Ed courses where my classes were fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So what exactly were you teaching? Like what classes?
You really want to know what I taught? I taught for about 5 years. I taught sex health and decision making at USF.
Yeah.
And so the kids.
They must have loved it. Yeah.
They liked it.
Well, I do. I mean, I don't teach. Kind of. I do teach health, so health and PE. So I do have to do the whole sex ed thing, and I can tell you, most of the kids really like that part of it, and I'm sure even more when you get to college. And
and it was fun because it was, I didn't have like the rules of. I'm sure you. Probably
yeah, for sure.
So we got to do fun stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I did want to know. I appreciate you telling me that. I think that's like kind of what we do now, and what I do with this, like, is we're talking about like taboo subjects sometimes. And I feel like that is sometimes like a taboo subject, but it's important to everyone. Um, and it's like important to talk about and it's important to teach. And I think, like you said, it was probably very valuable to all those students and probably made it very enjoyable for you to actually go to work and talk about that every day.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. And especially in Florida, because at least at the time, Florida was an abstinence only state, like
Yeah.
education state. So
Mm-hmm.
I had kids coming to me, freshmen coming to me that, had only been taught abstinence only education. So I felt like I was really doing something,
Yeah.
helping them out because you're in college now,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
like
that's something.
that's
Yeah.
not flying anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So,
Um, so like you're doing all this, you got all this going on. Like, how were you able to manage it with your son? Okay, like how was it? Just you had daycare all the time, or like were
well,
you
he,
relying on friends at times, or how'd you do it?
yeah, I mean, he was definitely in school
Mm-hmm.
full time. He went to after school care sometimes, but I I made sure that my schedule was really flexible, especially in grad school and teaching. And my social support system was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All of his friends' moms were so great. Like I still am in touch with all of them. They would pick up Caden, take Caden overnight, even
Mm-hmm.
for if I went out of town.
Yeah.
They were such great helps at that time. And I think another aspect of it is you just, people will ask me sometimes, but you just kind of do what you have to do.
Yeah.
Like now I think about some of those schedules I had going and I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
that sounds horrendous. But at the time, it was just like, well, what would I have done?
Yeah.
Like not taking care of Caden or not gone to class or not gone to work. Like it just wasn't an option. So
Yeah.
I did it, and I think it tied back into that. I was running on a lot of trauma
Mm-hmm.
and that belief that I needed to overcompensate.
Yeah.
And that is another, I guess that's another thing I would probably have told 18-year-old Kristen,
Mm-hmm.
like these people, opinions are like holes, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has one.
Yeah, for sure.
And, I would have told her, like, you are not damaged goods. You are enough.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it took me a long time. I moved to Chicago and I was in my 30s before I realized it took me therapy, to go through and work through that to realize, like, I'm awesome.
Yeah.
And Caden and I, as a package, we are the best thing.
Yeah.
So being in my 20s, I was just constantly getting degrees. I had to be super skinny. I had to
Yeah.
be, I was over functioning at a level that was not sustainable.
Yeah. Now, were you having at that time you're doing all that stuff? Like, were you finding room for like having fun? Like, or was I mean, it seems like you didn't have a whole lot of time for that, or were you able to do it? Like,
Oh yeah.
oh, you were
I
good.
was having probably too much fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I had a robust social life.
Oh, well, that's good. So you
Yeah.
were able to, like, did that help you having that? Yeah.
Yes. And that goes back to that social support system. Like where I lived in Tampa, we lived in this townhome complex, like right by the Lightning Arena.
Uh-huh.
You could like walk to a Lightning game. So cool.
Yeah.
And the pool was in the middle, and everybody would just meet at the pool on the weekends, and like the kids would just swim and the adults would hang out.
Oh, that's
Like,
awesome.
it was just like, I mean, Florida. It's
Yeah.
just like one constant
Yeah.
party with a little work dabbled in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think about when did I sleep?
Well, and you said you were doing like all this stuff. I think you talked about, did you had like disordered eating at that time and
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to I needed to be perfect, and
yeah.
in somewhere in my mid-20s, I think I had like almost a breakdown where I became so severely OCPD is what they call it,
Yeah.
obsessive compulsive personality disorder, and I still work on that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like you could have eaten off my toilet seats.
Yeah.
Like my entire house, I would scrub it with a toothbrush every day. Like
Yeah.
I needed everything to, and that's really hard on a child.
Oh, for sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, here I am. I'm 25. Caden's, I don't know, 6 or 7 at the time, and
Yeah. I'm sorry. Does this bother you right now? That like the messiness of our house.
no, I'm in constant recovery.
Okay. Good.
And
I
and I
apologize.
have a 6 and a 5 year old, so I have to be better about it. But
Yeah.
I was really bad in my 20s,
Yeah.
and I don't think I wouldn't allow myself to eat a carb.
Yeah.
Like I was just, it wasn't sustainable,
Yeah.
and it was all tied back to obviously some childhood stuff too, but it was all tied back to those voices telling me like, you aren't as good as this person over here who got married and had kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, when I say it out loud now, it's like, what a crock of,
Yeah.
you know?
Why is anybody saying like? Why are they saying that to you? Like,
Because society will tell you
Mm-hmm.
that there's a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the timeline, right? And my clients come in all the time and they're upset about timelines. And I have, timelines are such bullshit.
Yeah.
They just are. Like, and I think as we get more and further along in life, like people are more used to timelines and different families and not being the same. But, in the early 2000s, the 90s, like that's what you were taught, right?
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
you need to go to school, graduate, meet a nice girl or guy, get married, have kids. That's the order.
Yeah.
And if you went out of order, and also do it by a certain age.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's too young. That's too old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, the pressure is ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I agree. And like, it's kind of funny. I feel like sometimes what you're taught, by the time you get to where you're supposed to go, things have changed. Like, even like with like college now, I'm always thinking like, I don't know, like when my kids get to that age, is college going to be like what it was when I went there? Or like, is it really going to be that important? And I don't mean to say it's not going to be that important, but like, is the world changing at a faster rate, and is different jobs are not going to be required that you go to college. I don't know, like, but like how you're taught,
Mm-hmm.
like I was always taught, go to college, do this, do that, and then you're here. So I know exactly what you mean by like the timelines that you want to reach.
And everything's changing so fast.
Yeah.
Not just with like AI and stuff like that, but I mean, even, what was fine 10 years ago, 20 years ago, is those norms have changed,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, even with the mental health stuff, I think things have gotten a lot better in terms of people willing to talk about it a little more. The problem is I think like there's become a lot more problems with it. I think like the technology has become a huge thing. Watching high school kids, and particularly boys. Like I know girls too, but like high school boys, like I think are really struggling sometimes, and they're not willing to admit it. But yeah, it's just different. It changes all the time.
The technology is really scary.
Yeah.
As a millennial who grew up before it.
Yeah.
And then as a mother who raised a child who didn't have access to it. I mean, Instagram was like a thing when Caden was in high school.
Yeah.
But, and now I have young children who I won't even let get near electronics. I am very worried about that future.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And I think how old was your son during COVID?
He was a junior in high school, and
Okay.
it was brutal.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
He was a junior in high school, and my daughter was 2 months old, and then I got pregnant with John during it, because
Yeah.
they're only 12 months apart.
Okay.
Sloan and John.
Yeah.
So not only was my son a junior in high school, but here I am telling him, like, don't go meet friends, don't go kiss girls,
Yeah.
because you'll kill your daughter. I mean, you'll kill your sister. You
Yeah.
know, because that's what the news was telling me.
For sure. Yeah.
So he's suffering from, like, not only depression but anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a healthy 16, 17-year-old boy who's all of a sudden telling him, like, don't go hang out with people.
Yeah.
We were talking about how social support is the number one predictor of health and happiness.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
well, and even we'll get into this. I want to
Yeah.
get into this a little more, but
sorry,
like,
I'm jumping around.
no, I do want to talk about that, because even at the time, I knew it was really messing me up, and I saw it messing kids up. And what I didn't like at that time was that you couldn't say that. Like, it was like you were a horrible person if you're like, I don't know if this, and again, it's not to discount all the other stuff, but I just know that there was like other damage that happened, and most of it on the mental health side. That if you said that though at the time, it was like you were a horrible person.
Especially in Illinois.
Yeah, for sure.
If you said that, it was like, oh, do you like people dying then?
Yeah, right.
It's like, no, I just think this might be pretty bad, because this is really bad.
Yeah, right.
Especially for the kids.
Right, and how I was feeling. So your son went to LT?
LP. He was at Lincoln Park High School.
Oh, Lincoln Park.
Still in the city.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, I actually know a lot of. I used to work at Kenwood in the city, and then a lot of our teachers ended up migrating over to Lincoln Park. But yeah, like that was like everything over they were all over Zoom, right? Pretty much the whole time.
He left school March of his junior year, and he did not step foot in a classroom again until he started at Miami his freshman year in college.
That is just brutal.
And he got to watch all of his friends down in Tampa, like, go to prom and be in school and, like, be all together and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because we moved here. Caden started 7th grade in the city. We left Florida.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember even when I was teaching, I'm like, looking, all the Catholic schools stayed in school. Like, they all were staying in school. And I was just like, nothing. Hasn't been this huge thing. Like, maybe we need to reevaluate some things. But whatever. We'll get into that. We'll probably get into that a little bit more.
Don't get me started.
Yeah. No, I know. Don't get me started either. But like so I wanted to talk about like the obsessive compulsive, because I know there's like different types. Like I had this comedian, Bridget McGuire, on, and she talked about how she has it. She does it's actually awesome. She does like a full 1-hour special on it. And she said like there's different types. Like for her, like she doesn't need to be clean. Like it's not that. It's different. It's like intrusive thoughts that keep going through her head and things like that. And I always wonder, like, for me, I was never diagnosed with something like that, but I have like obsessive like even like this whole Melee Way thing that I'm doing, like I'm obsessed about it. And like I just keep going. And it reminds me of like when I was a basketball player, same thing. Like I would practice hours on end. And it was almost like I felt like nothing was ever enough. Kind of like what you said. And I almost overcompensated and over practiced that time, like more than I should have. But I do think that obsessiveness helped me accomplish some things. So like while there was definitely a negative side, did you feel like that ever helped you? Like it was helpful in ways to help accomplish things?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I should admit this, but it's almost like a mania.
Yeah, I was going to mention, yes.
And there is a unipolar mania that comes with no depression. And, you know, I've never been formally diagnosed with it, but I definitely can feel...
Wait, explain that.
Unipolar mania.
Okay, so what is that? Because I've always felt like sometimes I have a little aspect of that, but go ahead.
So it's like, I mean, I'd have to like pull out the symptoms checklist. But for me, it feels like, and I'm self-diagnosing myself.
Yeah.
For me, it can feel almost like my skin is on fire.
Yeah.
And the only things that really bring me down are like working out or cleaning, really intense exercise. I guess I already said that, but
Yeah.
or just getting things done.
Yeah.
So I can really use it to my advantage. I think a lot of people who are high functioning probably have it
Yeah.
and they don't even know it, and it's
Mhm.
praised.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it's a disorder, quote unquote, that it looks good on paper. So it's people don't even realize that it's can be a bad thing.
Yeah.
So I can keep mine in check
Yeah.
now. But yes, it can definitely get out of hand. And you have like bipolar disorder where there's mania and depression.
Yes. Yes.
And that mania, people don't realize like it doesn't have to be mania doesn't always have to be, dancing in the street naked or
Yeah,
giving
right.
all your money away. It can be something like scrubbing the grout with a toothbrush for an hour.
Yeah.
It can be I can't sit down until the entire living room is clean with to this degree or whatever.
Yeah.
So I have figured out over the years how to manage it, but I also, to a certain extent, it's nice.
I was gonna say that because it like manic bipolar, that kind of runs in my family. And one of the things that people have said, I do think that I have a little bit of a component of that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things people said was like they kind of liked the manic side and it helped them accomplish, like, as long as it didn't go to the point where they were like buying a bunch of
Right.
stuff. But like I get that what is it?
Unipolar mania.
So I feel like sometimes this is like a therapy session right now, but I feel like sometimes I get like, where like I won't sleep well, and like I almost have more energy in the morning, and like I can like accomplish a bunch of different things, but like I don't get that low point really. I just kind of stay there for a while, and then it'll kind of go away.
Mm-hmm.
And then like it'll come back. So I don't know if that's what that is. Like I've never been diagnosed, but I've always like thought like there are times when I have like an unbelievable amount of energy and I'm able to like accomplish a bunch of different things. And I will say I like it. Like
Yeah.
I really like it at that time, and I haven't had like those negative drawbacks. I'm just like, well, I'm just going to keep going with this.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it is for me. There's no
Yeah.
lows. It does come down. Like I'm not
Yeah.
always,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
but there's no low lows. It's just like I go back to normal.
Yeah.
But when I am up, and my husband always knows,
Yeah.
he'll walk in and he'll be like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. But yeah, I mean, I can get done I can get done like what I wanted to get done in what Kristen could do. It's like having 6 Kristens
Yeah.
for a
yeah.
little bit.
And it's the exact opposite. Like, in my depression that I would have it wasn't like, it was usually completely separate. Like, it wasn't like I'd go from here down to there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this would just happen gradually over time. But like during my depression, the thing that bothered me the most was that I couldn't like make decisions and I couldn't think clearly. Where like when I am on the other side, it's like, oh, I can make decisions and like I am like on task all the time. So like again, I liked it, and
Yeah.
yeah, if I could figure out a way to stay there, I'd be like, yeah, let's do it.
Hey, if I could figure out a way to bottle it, I'd be rich.
Yeah,
right?
exactly, exactly. All right, well, we kind of got sidetracked with
Yeah.
my therapy session for myself, but it was good. So you career shift though. Like you did a career shift. You
Did.
said you kind of got burnt out um, with
Yes.
your PhD program.
Yeah, I had been in higher education for a while. I was doing my PhD. I was in the dissertation phase, so I had taken all the classes and I was just sick of it.
Yeah.
And I was approached to help some of my colleagues start this company. I helped them write, I was already doing like grant writing and writing scholarly articles and all this stuff. So I helped them write the business plan and kind of start this company. And then about a year after that, they offered me a formal position with Proton International. And I've been with them since 2013. So
Yeah.
I'm the VP of Business Development for them. And
So you went from like the social work and that stuff to like, how did you do that? Like,
well, it was a learning curve
yeah.
because
Well, how did you get the job? Like, how were you able to convince them like, hey, this is something that I could be good at?
well, full disclosure, my father is the CEO.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
So he was letting me help. He wanted me to help him like write the business plan, and I actually built their first website and did some stuff like that. And then he was like, "Well, do you want to try your hand in sales?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, I mean, I understand the clinical side of things because I had already been in healthcare for, I don't know, 5 years or something at the time. And
Yeah.
sales was really hard for me in the beginning, but now
Yeah.
I've been in it for 15 years and I get it.
Well, and it's kind of like too, I always think about this when I talk to students, like especially get people who are struggling or the ones who overcame it. I'm like, listen, I think if I'm hiring people, like I'm not hiring someone that live like the easy life and no matter where they went to school. And I'm sure your dad realized like, hey, you have been able to accomplish things that other people wouldn't have been able to accomplish with your situation. So yes, you are his daughter, but he also has seen firsthand where like you've been able to do something. You're going to be able to figure this out if you figured all that other stuff out. That's how I would if I was hiring. Do you think that's kind of was
No, for sure. I mean, he told me flat out even after just undergrad and actually even after both my master's degrees, he told me he wouldn't hire me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess
you impressed him.
I impressed him. And yeah, and I love working for Proton International. It's really great. We have built some great centers all over the world, and those centers, have saved or improved countless lives. And that's just like I get to help people on a macro level. And my whole life, the only thing I've ever wanted to do is help people in some capacity. Yeah. And that's another reason why I think I left academia is because I was writing articles and like doing the data and running the data or whatever in maternal and child health populations, but I wasn't helping anyone.
Yeah.
Who was reading that?
Mm-hmm.
Like some nerd doctor.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like I was actually helping someone. So PI really, got me into that.
Yeah, no, that's all. And like, it's like cancer. What exactly is their thing? I know you talked about it.
So I'll say it in a nutshell. Proton therapy is a specific form of cancer treatment.
Okay.
You know about radiation treatment, right? For solid tumors.
Mm-hmm.
So that uses photons. And that's fine for like right breast or an adult tumor in like a leg or something like that. But for pediatrics, anything in the base of the neck, any left breast, anything near some organs at risk, you are not going to want to blast that with radiation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So protons actually map out the tumor and the dose drops off at the edge of the tumor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like say I have a tumor in my left breast. Well, what's behind your left breast? Your heart,
yeah.
Right? So say the tumor's in the shape of a heart, or a star.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just making it up, right? So we can map that out so that the dose drops off at the edge, and then you aren't affecting that healthy tissue or that heart behind it.
Yeah.
But with photons, standard radiation, you're just blasting that whole area.
And then you're doing damage. Yeah.
You're doing damage, which obviously causes, damage to the surrounding tissue, the organs at risk, and can cause secondary cancers. And it's just not good.
Yeah. So
especially for peds.
Why is everyone not doing that then?
That's a great question. I will be talking about that this month in Nashville.
Yeah, okay.
So the reason why everyone's not doing it is because they're not all over. Like the closest one to here is in Naperville, so
okay.
you could do it. But if you lived in like Louisville, Kentucky, you'd have to travel to Cincinnati to get protons.
Okay.
Which, if you're of certain means, you can do that. You could, if you're married, you could move there for 6 to 8 weeks and take your child or take yourself and get that treatment, because treatment's usually 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
But if you're a single mom and you have a few kids and you work,
yeah, you're not going to be able.
It's out of the question.
Yeah.
And then also insurance companies try and deny so that people will just go with a secondary type of treatment like photons.
Yeah.
But that's what we try and do at Proton International is we're trying to build more and more one-room centers, because in the beginning they were building them really big, so they would just be like there was like 5 at the beginning in over the country, but now there's more and more one-room centers.
Gotcha. That's interesting.
Because we want them in our backyard.
Yeah.
Just like standard photons are in your backyard, we want them in everyone's backyard, so that no one has to travel to get protons.
That's awesome. And kind of like you said, that's actually like you're helping people.
Yeah.
With what you're doing, and that's cool. Like I didn't really know I didn't know anything about that until you talked when we were on the phone the other day, and yeah, it just seems like hopefully that catches on more and more, so that.
And you wouldn't know, but if you had a solid tumor or any kind of cancer that was a proton indication, you would do a Google search and you'd know about proton therapy in 2 minutes.
Yeah. All right.
It has the highest.
Hopefully, I don't have,
yes,
but I'm sure there could be a possibility.
No.
I know that. So you're doing that, and then you moved to Chicago.
Yeah. So I was traveling so much with PI. And I was done with school and I was working remotely. So, and Caden was young, and my sister was like, why are you still in Florida?
Yeah.
Like she was in grad school up here, or maybe she had graduated, but anyway, she was in Chicago in the city, and she was like, come live in Chicago. It's great here.
Yeah.
And I didn't think for one second Caden would want to do it, because he's, set in his area. And he was like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. And how old was he?
He started 7th grade here.
7th grade. Okay.
So I think I had just turned 30, and we moved in 2015 to the city of Chicago. We moved in with my sister and her 2 cats.
Yeah.
And and I mean, we had a great time. I love the city. It was so cool. So Caden got to grow up in Florida and the city of Chicago, and we moved here, and I met my husband within the month. He was my next door neighbor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing how things just, that's just crazy how things just work out in that way. Something that you might never have thought was going to, before we get it, were you like dating other people before, like when you were in Florida, or?
Yeah, I had a long-term boyfriend in Florida for like 5 years.
Okay.
But we had broken up.
Gotcha. Yeah, and then you found your person,
Yeah.
which is awesome. And at this time, if I remember correctly, you talked about like beginning therapy at the like, was this before you met your husband, or was it around that same time?
It was around that same time. But I mean, I kind of, I did some therapy in high school. I did some in Florida, but this was kind of like, this really helped me. She was, and I want to say this because I don't think people really realize this when they go to look for therapy. is it's very hard to find a good therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And not just because it's hard to find a good therapist.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a good match
Yes.
for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could walk into a therapist's office and they could look like your second grade teacher that you hate.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, you could walk in and they might not like something about you, and you could feel that bias. I mean, and they're not supposed to do that, but
Yeah.
there's just all sorts of reasons why it doesn't click. They could just have a different uh, you know, theory than you want to be working on. But this girl just, she was a good therapist,
Yeah.
and she worked through a lot of that stuff that I talked about, the childhood, you know, stuff, and then the trauma of that storyline that I had been told, you
Yeah.
know, that you were kind of trash for
Mm-hmm.
having a baby at 18 and you weren't as good as the other people.
Yeah.
And I worked really hard on that with her, and then just on my own too, and just really got a lot healthier.
Yeah.
And I kind of never looked back,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I knew pretty quickly, like, that all of that was really just a lie,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, did you ever have, because I think you got fueled by some of that. Did you ever have any, like, resentment in a way? Like, I would have a hard time when people had said that to me, like, forgiving. I'm not good at the forgiving aspect. How did you deal with any of that?
Well, it wasn't like it wasn't like my mom or my dad,
Yeah.
you know? So it wasn't like anyone that I needed to forgive in my immediate circle.
Yeah.
It was mostly society,
Right. Yeah.
and mostly, you know, what the world had told me.
Yeah.
So that wasn't like a person to forgive.
Yeah. That makes, yeah.
But as far as forgiveness for like that person that wrote the letter, that was just a distant relative. I think she might even be dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. And I've also worked a lot on really staying out of the past.
Yeah.
I tell, you know, I always
Until
tell,
you come on the bailiwick, and
Yeah.
then we dig it out.
Well, I mean, it's fine to talk about your past, but I truly believe that you can learn from your past. But
Mhm.
I mean, statistically, like, it's a fact that you cannot change it, right?
For sure. Yeah.
And I always tell my clients that, because, you know, everyone's so worried about something in their
Mhm.
past. And I'm like, well, the past is guilt, right? Guilt is the past, anxiety is the future. So I can't change anything.
Yeah.
I can't go back and change literally anything. So all I can do is learn from it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I live my life. Even today, like, even when I make mistakes now, and I do all the time,
Yeah.
I don't hang my hat on them very long,
Yeah.
because it just doesn't behoove me or my family
Mm-hmm.
in the current state,
Yeah.
like present day.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good approach for even kids to like. I like when my kids make mistakes or
Mhm.
like they fail, like in sports. I'm like, good. Like, it's good to be able to like learn from those things, and it's good to build like that sense of like overcoming something. And like, I always look back too on like my struggles. It's like, I'm not happy that they happened. Like, it would have been nice if they didn't.
Yeah.
However, like, it has led me to this point, which I wouldn't be here if those things didn't happen. So I'm kind of like, well, I'm not glad, but I'm making the most out of those things.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems like you're doing that too, which, I mean, you kind of agree with that. Like, you're not happy it happened, but it's, you're making the most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a big question people ask, right? Like, if you could change anything, what would you change? And my answer is always the same, because if I would have you know, done anything differently or gotten out of that shitty relationship in my 20s earlier, like
Yeah.
I wouldn't have my new kids. That's what
Yeah.
I call them, my new kids.
Yeah, right.
You know, so everything happens for a reason. And I mean, I know that probably sounds a little cliche or corny, but it really does. And,
Yeah.
you know, every mistake, every failure, every success taught me, you know, these lessons and led me to where I am today.
Yeah.
And I'm not done, right?
Yeah, you're not done.
know?
You got plenty of time
Yeah.
left. Okay, I want to get into one more thing that I know that you talked about, like your mother
Yes.
passed. You know, I dealt with that too. How long ago was that?
21.
21. Okay, yeah, my mom was a little bit before. And I know you said you dealt with some severe anxiety during that time. Like, how obviously I understand how that could happen because of that. Like, how did that look on a daily basis?
Oh my gosh. You know, I told you I did not have depression again after that, like, initial bout when I moved to Tampa. But anxiety is something I kind of always will battle.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty common, especially, you know, in this day and age. But it was a lot of variables that led to that, and I think that's another thing that I want to really drive home is, you know, anxiety, depression, whatever, it can happen to anyone at any time. You know,
Yeah.
you know, you don't have to be 18 and unwed, right?
Yeah.
Like, so when COVID hit, I had just had Sloan. So she's was born in January of 2020. So she was 2 months old. Caden's a junior in high school. And then, you know, COVID hit. It was all Mai Tais and Yahtzee for a couple weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we were like, shit, is this like not going away?
Yeah.
This kind of sucks.
Yeah. I remember we thought we were going to be back in school within a couple weeks. Yeah.
And then, you know, I'm watching the news, the ticker tape, there's like the death toll. And I was just, my anxiety started to climb because it was like, okay, if your baby gets this, he or she will die.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's just what I thought, you know?
Yeah.
So we were
Well,
terrified.
that's what you were pretty much told. Yeah.
That's what we were told. So that's when my anxiety really started. I mean, it was palpable. Like I couldn't eat.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep. I was sick. And then I found out I was pregnant with John. And then they're like, oh, pregnant women, you guys, ooh, if you get it,
yeah,
that's even worse. You know, it was just layering. Then I give birth to John. So here I am, still postpartum from Sloan. I give birth to John in January of 21. So they're true Irish twins. I'm just like, my gynecologist is like, please don't have another kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, I won't, I promise.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was like the height of COVID. Patrick my husband was the only one that was allowed to be there at John's birth.
Yeah.
And like, no one could come in. And then, so he was born in January of 21. Then we moved. Caden graduated from high school. He went off to college. Well, he didn't yet, but he graduated from high school, and then we moved to the suburbs. So these are all stressors.
Oh, for sure.
A move is exciting, but John was, I don't know, 2 months old when we moved out here in May of 21. And then my mom developed a rash in June of 21. And then my little sister called me in July of 21, and she was like, Mom, I had to go to the hospital. And I was like, so I have a half brother and a half sister that are in their Caden's age. Actually, I have another brother too.
Yeah.
My parents are divorced. And so I get on a plane. I'm her executor, and her younger kids, my half brother and sister, are 19 and 20 at the time.
Wow.
And Caden's 18. So I get on a plane, go there with my sisters, my full-blooded sisters that are my age. And my mom had undiagnosed, at the time we didn't know, but it was B-cell lymphoma.
Mm-hmm.
And she, by the time I got there, she was already intubated in the ICU. And I basically had to sign a paper to take her off life support.
Wow.
So
you never got to even say...
I never got to say goodbye to her. That whole week was like a car accident. I don't remember any of it. I think I fainted in the hospital. I mean, it was horrific. Horrific.
Yeah.
And just to have that, I was the only one who could sign that because I was her executor, or whatever that word, executrix.
Yeah.
So I had to do that. And then I had to come back and take care of my, 5-month-old son and my 1-year-old daughter. And my anxiety was so bad. First of all, I don't even know how much I weighed. I was very small.
Mm-hmm.
But we have stairs in our house, and John's room is upstairs. And whenever I would pick him up and have to walk down the stairs with him, I would think I was going to drop him. It was just like you have to pick him up out of his crib 6 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
So I did have to get on medicine for 6 months because it was so bad. I was like, I can't even pick up my son.
Did it help?
It helped.
Yeah.
Immediately. Yeah. And then time helped, and I just worked on myself, and I was able to get back off of it in about 6 months.
Yeah.
Because I know that I can be not on it because I can, work out and do other things. That's me. I'm not saying I know people who need to be on it all the time.
Yeah.
But that was probably the worst anxiety I've ever had in my life. Yeah. But I like to call that situational anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I had, situational.
Yeah, with everything that was going on.
It was just COVID, still postpartum hormones, moving, not knowing anyone out here in LaGrange. Mm-hmm. My mom dying out of nowhere, and it was just a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you were able to, and I like that you're able to, because I hear some people who sometimes bash medication, and I'm not it's not the answer for everyone. It is not. And I even think for me, it's been more a temporary thing for me. It helps get me out of that spot, but it's more about the prevention. But yeah, there's some people who are so against it, and I'm just I understand that, but there are people that need it, and it is helpful to a lot of people. So I always try to be cautious when I hear people say oh, you shouldn't be on that, and I'm well, you've never been in my situation.
I think the people that are so anti-medication have either they're just super old school or they've never been in that situation.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I'll have clients walk in, and within the first session, I always know which clients need medication.
Yeah.
And I can't prescribe it, but I can send them to an NP or a PCP, and and then within 2 weeks, they're they do a 180.
Yeah.
And you don't always need to be on it for life, but there are times when you need to be on it.
Yeah.
And had I not gotten on that medicine at that time, it just wasn't going to be good for anyone.
Yeah.
I needed to eat. I needed to be able to take care of my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to be able to function.
Yeah.
And, I had been in such a bad anxiety zone for so long between COVID and all that. That's not good on your body either. And what people don't think about is the physical stress of that. Hair falling out, weight loss, weight gain, whatever it looks like on you. But this stress is a mother on your body.
For sure. Yeah. And that's why you got to find ways to relieve that. Now, you end up starting your thing, the Powers Mindset, which I feel you married a great last name. Because that is I feel that's a pretty you said badass. I think that's a pretty badass name for something. So, the Powers mindset. What exactly is that? When did you start it, and where do you see
So,
it going?
yeah. So the Powers mindset, I started it a little over a year ago, I guess now. Um, I because post COVID, I don't travel as much with PI as I used to,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice because I used to have to get on a plane every single time, a hospital or university wanted to meet with us. But now people get it and you can just hop on a Zoom. But I had always wanted to go back to therapy because I hadn't done therapy in a long time. I talked to patients in our centers, but I used to do therapy back in Tampa. And um, so I was like, oh, I'll just see a small, caseload here in LaGrange. So I worked at a couple private practices here in LaGrange, and I just didn't like the way they were run.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to like name names or anything. I just,
Yeah.
a lot of the private practices, they're about volume. Um, Sometimes they'll make you see people that or populations you don't want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not good for anyone. So, what I realized too, because I love seeing moms, because I am one, and
Yeah.
that's kind of my shtick. Is I like just adult women, even though I saw kind of the gamut. Um, I saw that all of them were just could benefit from the same thing.
Yeah.
Some people definitely need therapy, and everyone can benefit from therapy. But I realized that a lot of these women could, and not even just moms, but just a lot of these women in general, like even ones without kids, could benefit from some of these overarching themes.
Yeah.
A lot of them were dealing with anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
people pleasing, overthinking, burnout, mental load. I mean, it sounds, like obvious, but it's not because, I'll have these people come in and say something and they haven't thought of it. They haven't thought that someone else might be going through it
Mm-hmm.
because people don't talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
You don't see it on their Instagram pages, and it's not really happy hour or like after work talk,
Yeah. Right.
maybe with your best friend, but
Mm-hmm.
all of these women were really dealing with the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes, the problems were different, but like the overarching help that they needed was
Mm-hmm.
kind of the same.
Yeah, and it kind of like the previous podcast that I did. I had on this guy who has started his business. He's basically a coach for college basketball coaches. And it's like, and he's kind of like, well, there was nowhere for them to turn. And when they did have somewhere to turn, it wasn't someone who actually knew what they were going through as like a
Mm-hmm.
college. So he's like, that's where I come in. And I feel like it's similar to you in the fact that like you are a mom and you do know what that's all about. And you've overcome something. Like, do you talk like, do you share like some of the stuff that you have gone through in your sessions with them?
I very much do.
Yeah.
And that's not for everyone. There are people who come to therapy and don't want their therapist to self disclose.
See, I would need that.
Yeah,
That would be the only way I would listen.
I do too.
Yeah.
And also like actually in social work, social workers, therapists, we're really not supposed to unless it benefits the client.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm not going to self-disclose unless it benefits the client.
Yeah.
But I do it all the time because it's like, why would I not?
Yeah.
This woman comes in and says, this is happening to me. I'm like, just so you know, you're not alone.
Yeah.
That happened to me, or that's happened to me, my sister and my friend. And, like it's very common.
Yeah.
And it's so comforting for them to know that
Yeah.
because, again, that stuff's not talked about.
Yeah.
It's really not. And it's sad because once they realize that what they're going through or what they're feeling is not abnormal,
Mm-hmm.
it feels so much better like right away.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you that too. And I love that feeling of being able to see that in their eyes, like, oh man, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean,
I'm not bad for feeling this way
for
or
sure.
out of the norm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that is like, I know you said like you're not supposed to do that. Like that's the same for me when I as a teacher. Like I am not supposed to talk about like this personal thing, but I was just kind of like screw this. Like I know this will benefit kids. So and I think what's good about our school is they've kind of been like, oh, now we see that it is beneficial to the kids. So it's almost like talked about like, yeah, you should, if you struggled with something, man, disclose it. Like it's helpful. And I've seen it be helpful. I know it would be helpful to me. Like I can't listen to someone like I couldn't read a book. I mean, maybe I could. I could read a book, but I couldn't like see a PowerPoint and be like, "Oh yeah, maybe I am dealing with that."
Yeah.
Like I needed someone to tell me that they have gone through it. So I'm glad you do that because from my standpoint, and it's not that everyone would be able to do that. You're in a position where you have gone through some things, but I just think that's so helpful relatability. And I think about it from a male perspective. Like I think males really need someone to like be relatable that they could relate to. And one of the ways that someone can do that is be like, hey, I deal with this too. Let's talk about it. Which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's so important, that relatability, because, if you can just help one person, even like
Hmm.
not feel alone, then that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I've even had male clients come in and you can relate to them because if they're parents, right? Or you can find common ground with people.
Yeah.
And that that's how you can connect to them and help them feel better,
Yeah.
you know? And yeah, do I want to talk about myself ad nauseum? Do I want to tell my traumatic stories
Hmm.
on a podcast?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily, but if it helps someone, if it
Yeah.
helps an 18-year-old girl who's pregnant
Yeah.
or someone who's been told that they're not enough, like
Hmm.
that's that's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want to help those girls or those women that are going through something along those lines.
Yeah. Well, I think you're doing exactly what I got my tagline. I call it sharing selfishly. I don't know if I told you this before, but like and this is the part where people who listen to me or have seen this will like fast forward because I say this all the time, but like I used to, as a basketball coach, I would say go set a screen and screening, and I would say screen selfishly. Like screening in the basketball court is like one of the most unselfish things that you can do. However, when you do it, you end up getting yourself open. So I didn't care what the reason was, why my players were doing it. I'd be like, yeah, be a selfish screener, screen to get yourself open, and but by doing that, you're gonna get a teammate open. And so now I say share selfishly because I think by sharing your story, like when I share my story, what you're doing right now, that's going to help people. And that's hopefully that's the main reason why I'm doing it. And I know you talked how you want to help people. That's the reason why you're doing it. But I feel like by doing so, I also make myself feel good. Like
Mm-hmm.
knowing that I've been able to help someone, that's been a big part of like my self care, I guess you would say. Do you feel that like, when you're in one of these sessions and you feel like you've had that eureka moment maybe where you really help someone, I'm sure that helps you feel better, like yourself as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those are my favorite days
Yeah.
when I'm with someone and they're like, they have that eureka moment.
Yeah.
Or I'll even be with a client and they'll say something and it will help me,
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh man, I didn't think of that,
Yeah.
or I'll be going through something and just being with them makes helps me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell them that.
Yeah, right.
They might charge me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's all part of recovery. And I think it's also important to note that none of it's linear.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell my clients that too, because I don't ever want them to think that I'm perfect or that it's easy.
Yeah.
I'm 41, I'm a therapist, I know all the tips and tricks. But I still slip.
Yeah.
I still catch myself going back into bad behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
I call them bad behaviors. I mean, that's probably not the right term, but that's what they are for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to actively work to not go down that slope,
Mm-hmm.
because I can.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that have to, or I'm not, a good person. It's just nothing is linear.
Yeah.
Grieving isn't linear, healing isn't linear, but we're all just actively living each day for the first time, and we're all actively trying to be better than yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of all I think we can do.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's like a mic drop moment. Yeah. Well, okay. So I want to give you a chance to like kind of shout out, like where could people find like the Powers mindset if they want to maybe come take advantage of the resources that you have there? Like, how do they find you? Social media, whatever you want to talk about. You talk about it right now.
So you can find us on Instagram, The Powers Mindset, and our website is thepowersmindset.com.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll find all our contact information there. So you can also email us and call us. But we have immediate openings for therapy, and we also do, I do consulting and speaking as well. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell that you would be a very good therapist. Like, I feel like part of this was a little therapy session for me at times.
It was. You're going to get a bill.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll pay you in that sweatshirt. That's fine. But yeah, no, I really appreciate you coming on, and like what I always say to close when I end these, as I always say, by sharing your story, not only do you help others, but you end up helping yourself, because that's the Melee way.
I love it. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah. I thought that was good.